Capping one of our top stories, though, Columbia University has reached a settlement with the Trump administration to restore federal funding. The university will pay $221 million to the federal government over the course of 3 years, and in exchange, a vast majority of federal grants, which were terminated back in March, they will be restored to Columbia, as well as the school's access to current future grants.
In a Truth Social post late last night, the president writing, Columbia has also committed to ending their ridiculous DEI policies, admitting students based only on merit, and protecting the civil liberties of their students on campus. Numerous other higher education institutions that have hurt so many and been so unfair and unjust and have wrongly spent federal money, much of it from our government, are upcoming.
Okay, we are pleased to be joined on set right now by Florida Congressman Randy Fine. Congressman, good to see you up north today. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's talk about this. I would say victory for President Trump and the administration against higher education. You see why he's targeting schools like Columbia, Harvard. They have the biggest war chest. Trump is proving he can have a dent and an impact there to fight the anti-Semitism, to fight against the woke culture that's being propagated coming out of them. Talk about it.
Well, he's also going after the schools that other schools look up to. I mean, regular schools look up to the Ivy League schools. Look, what he has shown is no more lip service. When Jewish kids come on college campuses, they're going to be protected. And certainly the $220 million will sting. But they're also implementing the IRA definition of anti-Semitism, which will say that many of these protests that they had on campus are anti-Semitic. They're also going to ban masks on campus, which is a big deal because a lot of these people want to hide themselves because they know that what they're doing is wrong. And so I'm incredibly grateful to President Trump for taking these steps, for fighting and saying Muslim terror on college campuses is just not acceptable.
Yeah, it's definitely a step forward, right, in securing student safety. And yet, if you kind of look at the statements that are released, it's not Columbia fully admitting to allowing anti-Semitism on campus. The statement reads in part, Jewish students and faculty have experienced painful, unacceptable incidents. So, Congressman, is that specific enough for you?
Look, I think what matters is moving forward, not the words that they use. I think adopting the IRA definition is a huge deal. The groups that are on campus right now, the IRA definition says anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. And so it's going to have a huge impact on these groups. And again, banning masks, banning these kinds of protests, having a zero tolerance policy for students, it's going to be a very, very big deal. $220 million is a lot of money, even at a place like Columbia. And I'm hopeful, as a guy who went to an Ivy League school and a Jewish student myself many years ago, that this will have a big impact on my kids as they go to college and every other Jewish student, but frankly, every other American student. They're also going to be taking a look at foreign students as part of this agreement because our elite universities are spending too much time and too much of our money educating foreigners. They're looking at that as well.
Talk about, though, also trying to eradicate just the overall woke culture coming out, too. I think that was a big part of it. We've seen the University of Pennsylvania saying they're not going to let men compete women's sports anymore. They're going to erase the record set by Leah Thomas. I mean, anti-Semitism, huge issue. More broadly, though, it's that whole leftist culture, which breeds into that.
Well, they're all linked together.
Yeah.
We banned it in Florida. I used to be in charge of higher education when I was in the Florida legislature. We got rid of all of that stuff because the fact of the matter is universities are now dedicating too many resources to teaching degrees in a job for where all you can do is work at Starbucks
or the government.
Protester.
You can work in the federal government.
That's true, too. And so these are all huge deals to get our higher education back on track to preparing our kids to join the workforce, which is what it's supposed to be. It's not to become a community organizer.
Yeah, by the way, our viewers might recognize Congressman Fine. We took a clip recently at a hearing you were at in which there were some protesters who wanted to interrupt you, and you just weren't taking that. You know, is that sort of how folks should feel emboldened to fight back against folks who they disagree with, in a sense? You know, obviously in a polite way, but still not backing down.
Well, I don't know that I was polite.
Neither
was the person who was there. The situation that you're talking about is a former student at one of these institutions interrupting a congressional hearing in front of university presidents. I told that loser to shut up and get out, but then I blamed the university presidents for creating a culture that says this kind of behavior is okay. It is not. People need to learn how to behave in public. I have to listen to people I disagree with all the time. I don't get to shout them down.
That is true. We're glad you were able to explain that here on the show so nicely. Congressman Fine, thanks so much for coming on today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me anytime.
Absolutely. All right,
Good to see you, sir.
Back.